Is $45 an hour worth it to work on Christmas? The vote and debate for the right price, now on The Brew.
$45 an hour to work on Christmas. Joel, is it worth it?
For me and you, it is. For people who are rich, it is not. It's not that much money. But for poor people, that's a lot of money.
You know, interesting. I thought about this because I didn't think about the money factor of it. I was thinking about the family factor. For example, if you're a single person like me, if you're working on Christmas, you're not going to be around your family or anything. Okay, it's another day to make extra money. But if you have a family and you're want to see your kids tear open gifts, $45 might not be worth that to you because the price of watching your kids rip open presents is priceless. But one counterpoint, then after we talked about doing this topic, I thought about that. What if you're Jewish? You don't really care about Christmas. You probably would be fine working on Christmas Day because it's not a holiday to you. You just had yourself 8 crazy nights.
That's right. And those 8 crazy nights might have paid you $45 an hour, for all we know. No, it's $45 an hour is cool. It's like a good wage depending on the economy. And for now, that's still a good wage. But back then, it would have been, you'd have been a millionaire like 10 years ago if you had that. But now you're like, oh, that's cool. He kind of makes good money.
I think, to your point, it also depends where you live. Like here in New York, $45 an hour won't go as far as it will in, say, Biloxi, Mississippi. It's just different economies.
Right. And there's people that are going to be watching this going, oh my God, that's the number you guys are debating? And they're coming from a big market where they're like, I can't believe it's that small. Or they're coming from a small market where I can't believe it's that big. But genuinely, for most companies, especially big corporations, that's nothing. That is nothing.
That is true, but one thing about the Brew, everybody's welcome to a point, to bring a point to the table. That's why I want the point from the big market, the little market, and we do got a bunch of points from our friends here right now. So let's get to your viewer comments right now.
It's what the fellow little marketers think.
Yeah, let's find out. Barbara says, only if you don't have the opportunity to be with family and friends. She agrees with me. Bronx Bombers 46 says, nope. Craig says, usually a family day, work some retail. 2 worst days were Black Friday and the day after Christmas when everyone returned everything they didn't want. And Tuttletown Unit says, absolutely, we don't have kids, and I'm a bartender in Las Vegas making $12 an hour. Our bars don't close, so I work anyway. Well, some states, the bars do close on Christmas. I grew up in Pennsylvania. The bars weren't allowed to be open on Christmas Day.
That's great. Pennsylvania, also, the bars are closed like most of the rest of it. Or you have to go to some fucking crazy place out in the middle of the corn to find liquor. So anyway, yeah, there was only one person that said no. Well, we can't all be that rich, and all of us have some privilege, but nobody has that much privilege except for very few people. So yeah, I would give that up. I don't have a family to worry about. I'm kind of like Joe, but even if I did, that would be so much more than normal. Especially $45 an hour goes a long way in Vegas, period. Vegas is a big city, but it's not a huge city. So the answer will change. Obviously, the answer changes depending on how big the city is, what your market is, what you're used to. But for most people, that's massive. That's a life-changing amount of money.
One thing we're not thinking about too, some union contracts have a holiday like that factored in where you do get a guaranteed, bigger pay per hour. I mean, that's becoming harder and harder to find that stuff. Mostly union gigs do that, but that is a thing for some shops. Right. You're
going to get seasonal. There's always seasonal jobs that come around right now. Union shops are always going to be higher paying, better benefits, blah, 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 blah. Joe knows this way better than anyone else.
Yeah,
but you brought it up. So anyway,
I get it.
But yeah, dude, it is a good example. I do agree with you.
I got to deal with a lot of that on my job, so I understand the union rules and regulations. And yes, I have a union card myself. Continuing on with our friends' comments, Christine says, I worked on Christmas for much less as mandatory TV news employee. As for where I live now and what I earn, I would love $45 an hour to work on Christmas because TV news is one of the jobs that don't stop on Christmas. There will still be TV news on Christmas. A lot of jobs that are open on Christmas.
It's a great point, and it's a point that Joe and I, if we talk about it to each other, we're just preaching to the choir because both of us know that very well. But Joe Joe, when's the last time you spent Christmas with your family working in TV? And like, same question for me, like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or it's not normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely a tough one. And it's even harder when Christmas falls in the middle of the week like it does here in 2024 when it's on a Wednesday. It definitely makes that tougher. You're right. Lots more comments, though. Bill's Mafia says, no way. Time of the family is worth more than $45 an hour. An $8 shift is only $360 before taxes. Nah, I'll take my day off. Laura says, I work Christmas Day when I worked at a group home. They don't stop needing help just because it's a holiday. Ed says, how does $45 compare to your usual wage? I'm not a rocket surgeon, but for some people that would be a pay cut. I'll work on Christmas Day for 1.5 or 2 times. Ooh, so Ed's bringing up the dollar value amount. Laura's got another job that, hey, they got to be open on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I feel like Laura made a good point. Similar to the one that I made. It's all relative. Is that more than you make now? Then yeah, that's great. That's true of 99% of people. Other
jobs too that are open, you're gonna think about on Christmas Day, fire departments, somebody still has to staff those up. Some convenience stores are still open. Hospitals, emergency rooms still gonna be open. So there are basic services that are still open on Christmas Day, and somebody's gonna be on call if there's a water main break. The police are still working, so there are some things that are still open.
Covers a lot more industries than the average person realizes.
I'm going to help you out here by going to Milsey's comment. He says, we get double pay in the UK. Think I get about 36 pounds. And Starman's got the final comment years ago. Yes, that was a fantastic incentive to work on the biggest holiday of the year. Now with the price of everything being so high, you have to weigh if it's worth sacrificing time away from your family. If it's remote and you can work at home, that changes the equation. Woo, different rules in the UK, and he's right. Remote work from home, okay, maybe you can still kind of work, but yet still get to see your kids open gifts. 2 very valid points there.
So yeah, I want to talk about the point with double time first. First of all, this is like the 20th category in the UK, better than the US in. We're talking about the greatest country. We're behind by like 20 different categories just to this one random ass country. The rest is kind of the same, like relativity. Relativity is all what it is. How much do you want to sacrifice? How much does your family matter? Joe brought up a good point earlier in the show. I don't have a family to worry about. So if you don't have a family to worry about, then 45 is great.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like we talked about. It depends on what your situation is. And some people, I thought most people would say no. There are far more people that actually took it on here. Like, okay, 1 point times pay, 2 times pay. That dollar value is worth it. The only other problem is, though, when you get that extra pay like that, of course you get taxed higher on it. It's not like you're getting free double pay. The government's still coming for part of that extra money, too. They want their piece.
I don't think that that's what people are using as a motivating factor when they're answering this question.
No, you know what I'm saying. I'm thinking like how overtime, how yes, you work overtime, yes, you get extra money, but you don't get all that extra money.
If I'm aware, I am aware.
Yeah. So there we go. All right, well, hopefully we got all your points. If you've got any more, just let us know down below. And while you're there, click on the subscribe button for all the fun here on the big Jersey Joe 50 YouTube channel. Holiday fun, bar talk, games, and more waiting for you every week. And hey, one thing, this YouTube channel is open 24/7. New shows we drop it on Christmas Day. And I know that because I already pre-recorded it. There you go.
America,
that's
recorded in 2024.
That's right. Well, hey, we hope you have a great, happy holiday, whether you're working or not. Jersey Joe and I saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, I hope.
It's an AI Christmas in New York City. Catch Jersey Joe's first ever music video, created by artificial intelligence. Streaming now.